Hello, can everyone hear me? Amazing. Okay. I'm actually Tabika. I work with Sudha, and I'm here to just take over for now. So yeah, please everyone, welcome to the Africa panel. Please take it away.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Uh, one second, quickly. Guys don't see me. This is interesting. Okay, fantastic. So, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful morning here in Accra. Well, I'm in Accra, but we are all over the world today. My name is Rashida Musa. I'm an AI integration specialist and the founder of RAMA Integration Technologies, where we help businesses and professionals successfully integrate AI technology into their operations. And I'm a passionate believer in Africa's tech powered future. It is an absolute pleasure to welcome you to today's panel. We are the Africa panel for the IoT Women's Day. We are gathered here at this time when the continent is really buzzing with innovation, and this panel is proof that the future of tech isn't just male or Western, it's African, it's female, and it's absolutely brilliant. AI isn't just about data models and algorithms. It's about solving real problems and improving real lives and creating systems that understand and reflect us, from healthcare to language preservation, from women's entrepreneurship to ethical design. AI must work for us, with us, and through us. And that's exactly what you'll experience this morning. Today, we have five dynamic speakers, each bringing a unique lens to AI, from data science and career empowerment to linguistics, ethics, entrepreneurship, and even a live AI demo. Each speaker will present for 15 minutes, followed by a brief transition, and we'll end with a short closing session. And hopefully, many buzzing ideas and questions will come in, and we'll have some time to answer that as well. So, to get us started, please join me in welcoming our first speaker, Mariam Abdul Kadir Mohammed, co founder of Africa Hackfest, here to speak on careers in data. So, Mariam Mohammed is a data scientist who is passionate about leveraging technology for impact. She co founded Africa Hackfest, an ed tech company that empowers learners through hands on projects and AI model development using African data sets. That's so incredible. This interactive session explores the vast career opportunities in data science, analytics, and AI. We'll cover why data careers are in high demand, the key roles available, and essential skills needed, and how to break into the industry. So, Mariam, please take it away. Thank you.
Um, Hello everyone. Thank you Rashida for the nice introduction. Give me a minute. I think I'm showing the wrong screen. Where is it? Okay. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen?
You can see your screen.
Okay. My name is Mariam Abdul Kader Mohammed. I'm a data scientist with hands-on experience in real-world projects. I'm currently pursuing a master's degree in data science, and my journey started from a place of curiosity and purpose. And my presentation is on careers in data. Okay, so the big question. Let's start with the big question. Why choose a career in data? Well, the short answer is it's one of the most exciting, impactful, and fastest growing fields out there. The key points are number one, high demand and job growth. So data careers are now booming. Even every company, big or small, is collecting data, and they need people who can analyze this data to help them grow. And then diverse industries. Data isn't just for tech companies. It's also used in health, finance, AI, e-commerce. All companies throughout the world need data people. And then exciting problem-solving challenges. Like working in data, you get to answer questions like what are customers living, how can we optimize delivery routes, what factors are driving student performance, those kind of questions. So if you're interested in that, solving these questions, data is the right field for you. Now, the main thing, the career paths available in data, there are so many more, but they all fall under one of these major career paths. So the first one is a data analyst, which the short, you analyze trends and visualizing data. But like, let's say data analysts are like detectives. They explore data, spot patterns, and help companies make better decisions. They use tools like SQL, Excel, Microsoft Excel, and Power BI or Tableau, which are visualizing tools to make reports. So, for example, in this, you could see job titles like marketing analyst in a retail company or something like operations analyst for a logistics company. Like it can come in different forms, the job titles, but essentially they are all data analysts. Then we come to data scientists, which build predictive models. This takes a step further from data analysts. They build predictive models using machine learning and statistics to answer questions like for a sales company, something like what will sales look like next month? So they are like projecting, or which customers might leave soon. They work with coding languages like Python, R, using libraries like scikit-learn or TensorFlow. So also, if you're into language processing, you might see titles like NLP engineer, which is a natural language processing engineer. Or you could also be a research scientist here. Like example is like, have you ever wondered how Netflix recommends shows? That's data science in action, where if you watch this, they are like people who have watched this, watch this, that kind of things. Data science build those kind of models. Now, next up is a machine learning engineer. Machine learning engineers, they build smart systems. They develop AI algorithms that learn from data and improve our life, like something like self-driving cars or AI assistants, voice assistants like Siri or Alexa, that kind of things. They need strong software engineering skills and a deep understanding of algorithms. So they are also a step further from data scientists because they're looking at the underlying, the core algorithms. They make those things. Now, some job titles that can come under this are computer vision engineer, ML ops engineer, those kind of job titles. And then next up is data engineer. Data engineers design data pipelines. They are architects that build behind the scenes. They design and manage systems that move and store data so data scientists, data analysts can analyze them. So they could be job titles like cloud engineers, big data engineers. So it's like, imagine a water system. They lay the foundation, they build the pipes that take its data from A to B, from where it is stored to where people need it. Okay, so last up is a business intelligence analyst. These analysts focus on data into insights that help drive business strategy. So they often work closely with business executives to answer questions like why the sales drop, which product is performing best. So they're excellent at storytelling with data, using dashboards and reports to drive decisions. Examples are strategy analysts or BI developers who create visual dashboards using Power BI or Tableau. So now, next up is the skills needed for all these job titles that I just mentioned. So the technical skills are Python, SQL, and or R. If you have good knowledge of Python, R is only, sorry. Okay, yeah. R is only needed in certain fields. Then machine learning and statistics, which is the core. But that, yes, the core. Then data visualization. But then you should not forget the soft skills. The main goal of working with data is to solve problems. As long as you can solve a problem, then using data, then you're a data person. Then communication, and then business understanding. So how to get started in data? You can learn the basics by yourself or join online courses and boot camps. We have resources like Data Camp, Kaggle. There are so many online resources you can use to learn. Then hands-on projects. You can look at hackathons or look up data science projects, data analysis projects on GitHub and see what is out there and follow them. Yeah, so build a portfolio. Also on GitHub and Kaggle, you can also host your portfolios there. You can do the hackathons you have taken part in or any of that, they are there, which is a visual presentation of your work for anybody who wants to confirm your skills. Then networking engaging, which is very important. Take part in conferences, post on LinkedIn, like be active in the online communities. Okay, so we are at the end of my presentation. My final tips are stay curious and keep learning, collaborate on projects, and never be afraid to ask questions. And if the audience has any questions, please post it.
Perfect. Miriam, that was wonderful. Thank you so much. I am truly inspired, and I know that there are plenty of women out there who, after seeing this presentation, are considering a career switch into data science. Seriously, you have inspired me. I'm like, hey, what am I doing over here? There's some great work to be done in the data science field. So thank you for your contribution to this presentation. If there are any questions, I don't know where they'll come, if they'll come in the live stream, but we'll keep an eye on that. And if we ever have to tap back in and ask you anything, we definitely will. So thank you again. We're very grateful.
Okay.
Yes. Fantastic. So, moving along, we have another fantastic presentation for us by Ruth. Ruth is a passionate entrepreneur, educator, and advocate for the transformative power of AI in data science in Africa. As a Zindi ambassador, she has been at the forefront of building AI and data driven communities, empowering young talents across the continent to leverage data for solving real world problems. With a strong foundation in electrical and telecommunication engineering, Ruth transitioned into data science, where she honed her skills in machine learning, AI, and community building. She has led impact initiatives, including mentoring aspiring data scientists, organizing hackathons, and spearheading AI projects tailored to African contexts. Her work extends well beyond tech, as she also leads efforts to recycle coconut waste into reusable material, combining sustainability with economic empowerment. Ruth has vast experience working with startups, NGOs, and international organizations, including partnerships with UNICEF, Ghana, UNHCR, and JA Worldwide, focusing on community centered technology. Today, Ruth is going to be speaking to us about sorry, my apologies. Her presentation is How Can AI Improve Efficiency in Female-Led SMEs, Businesses, and Startups? Across Africa, millions of female entrepreneurs form the backbone of local economies. Yet we remain underserved by digital innovation. Her presentation is going to explore how artificial intelligence can become a powerful enabler for women-led SMEs, helping them overcome barriers like language, market access, and operational efficiencies. From voice power tools to local language chatbots, predictive insights, this presentation is going to highlight practical AI applications, existing gaps, and the collective opportunity we have to co-create inclusive, community-driven AI ecosystems. Let's unlock growth, equity, and resilience for women, by women, with AI. I have had a pleasure of working with Ruth before, and you guys are definitely in for a treat. So, Ruth, I'll let you take away. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rashida. I hope I'm audible. Rashida, can you hear me before you leave?
Very well, dear.
Awesome. And you can see my screen, Empowering Female-Led SMEs in Africa with AI.
Very well. We can see you, see the screen, and everything.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much. So as you've heard from that brief description, my name is Ruth Ndotamarithi. Currently, I was based in Ghana, but now been moving in between Ghana and Kenya because of this one clear mission that we really want to empower female-led SMEs in Africa with artificial intelligence. So I'm the founder of Africa Hackness, working side by side with Mariam. And I must say this has been quite a journey, a lot of learnings, a lot of, growth. And we're still not there yet, but we are basically, pathing, following what other female founders have, set the path. And you might ask, why are we focusing on female-led SMEs? Well, in our research, you will be shocked to find out that 58% of Africa's self-employed population are women, 58%. And they contribute to approximately 13% of Africa's GDP. Now, Ghana, Botswana, and South Africa are the leading countries in women entrepreneurship. But yet, they still face a lot of challenges, not to leave behind other countries like Nigeria, Kenya, Egypt, the big economies where women are also taking lead in entrepreneurship. But the three mentioned countries, those reported the highest rates according to World Economic Forum. But then the challenges that they keep facing are the same: limited digital access, language barriers, lack of business tools and finance, and then the technical skill gaps. You'll realize that most women bounce into business mostly because of the situations or the circumstances that they find themselves. A lot of households have let women be the sole caretakers, the sole providers. So women tend to take charge. And I found this the other day. I was listening to a podcast. I don't know how many listened to The Diary of a CEO by Steven. And he had someone on there say that a lot of men need women for the marriage, but it's not the other way around. Once women have found their footing in marriage, then they tend to take charge. And I kind of liked that theory because I've seen it firsthand here in Africa, that a lot of households in the long run are very matriarchal. But then due to the tendencies of us all living in a very patriarchal society, this tends to be toned down. It's one thing that we don't talk about, if you know what I'm saying. But then what can AI do to change this? What can AI do, not really to change, but to evolutionize this game, especially in the SME world? So we've been looking at tools that can be incorporated in business, right from translating languages instantly, providing chatbots for their 24 customer service, running market analysis and business insight, automating bookkeeping and inventory. We found that a lot of women still do a lot of manual work, a lot of books, they really love their little books, whether it's coming in to do their SUSU monthly, the group collective, accounts. They always have that leader who has that book. And that book is like one of those books that are well protected, in any household. If you've grown in enough, that book that your mom will never let you touch. So AI can automate bookkeeping and inventory while also offering personalized marketing tools and supporting non-literate users via voice. Right now, I've seen organizations, even Suda's Business Weekly Wed has brought on a lot of speakers who are working in translation, in language translation, and building models that can be localized to the African context. Masakani is doing some good work changing that and working with other companies to really, bolster that initiative. I'm going to mention a couple as we go on. And some real world use cases that we've found out is in Kenya, people are now using WhatsApp chatbots to restock inventory. In Nigeria, this has been seen. In Ghana, this has been seen. Seamstress translating orders via AI. We've seen people use some Ghana's Kaya AI from Ghana NLP to do businesses with tribes that they cannot understand. So this has helped bridge not only business-wise, but also offer better health, telehealth right now. This is huge for them. Women who are able to access maternity care, able to access better medicines, able to access better education from these platforms. Language translation models have played a huge, huge role in doing this. Aside from that, there's still barriers to overcome for sure. And that is one place where Africa Hackness is trying to, come in and really bridge this gap. Just to mention a few, the scarcity of local language data sets, the gender bias in AI assistance, digital literacy gaps, device and connectivity issues. I might mention them like this, and then it feels like we are too disadvantaged compared to the advantages, but this is slowly changing as more players come into the field. So what are the opportunities for action that we have here? So there's literacy campaigns, which we are doing a lot, AI training for women. When I say AI training, it's not the deep in-depth, but really showing them tools that they can incorporate in their business structures, in their business pipelines to help make this process more efficient. And then there's local data collection for sure, a lot of inclusive data sets, especially for underrepresented or low resource languages, mobile first tools. A lot of these women use, if I may say, they have two phones. They always have the smartphone and they have that YAM phone, the one that they use mostly for their money and confirming payments. So what are we building? What solutions are we building for these edge devices, and co-creation? I think this is the most important part, because designing these architectures, designing these applications with these women, not for them, but with them, so that they can actually give you insights firsthand on no, we don't do this, we don't do that. And you end up saving a lot of time before pushing products into production or into the market. So in a jiffy, I'd love to ask you to join hands with people who are playing in the field. We are not doing this alone. There are a lot of people championing this behind the scenes or online, or even not even behind the scenes, in front of the scenes. UN, the UNESCO, the UN fraternity from UNICEF to UNESCO. There's AI4D, there's Zindi Africa, there's Africa Hackness, local higher university institutions, a lot of startups in the game. So probably reach out on LinkedIn, reach out wherever you can in case you are interested to partner with us in forwarding this information. But aside from that, I'd love to say thank you so much to the IoT, to the businessware community, Sutha and the team for helping us be able to showcase this with you, with the world, and get this as much, get a lot of inclusion, you know, and a lot of opinions from you. So we'd really love to hear your feedback. And with that, Rashida, I think my presentation is done. Thank you very much. Would love to hear any feedback before we over.
Thank you so much, Ruth. I love that. And, you know, thank you for really touching on the realities of women today in Africa who are running the markets, who are running the businesses that are really keeping African countries alive. I mean, if you go to large markets in Lagos or Ghana, for instance, who runs it? Is it not women who are overwhelmingly, you know, participating in this commerce? And so it is so wonderful to see that there is technology being created thinking about them in mind. You know, I always say, people say, can Africa catch up to the AI race? And that's not the right question to be asking, because we have to actually create our own path to AI, because AI is so malleable to each and every one of us, right? Everyone talks about how ChatGPT gets to know them personally. And that's the same thing across all types of use cases of artificial intelligence, is that it's built around you and your use case. So you can never compare an AI that's for you, Ruth, and for me, or a woman in the market, or a woman who's living in New York City, right? So we're all different, and it's nice to see that we're taking note of that, and we're not just taking what the West gives us. We're trying to craft solutions that are native to us. So thank you again. I don't know if there's any questions for Ruth in the live stream. Let me take a look here. If anyone has any questions. If anything, we can always circle back. But thank you again. I guess we'll just keep moving forward. This is so exciting. I'm just sitting here like a child in the candy store. These are such progressive ideas, and I'm so impressed. So our next speaker is from Ghana. So very excited to have Madam Na Lamle come and speak to us. Her title of her presentation today is called Authenticity in the Age of Artificial Intelligence, which is a perfect segue into what we just what we just heard, is that with AI automating more aspects of our lives, how do we ensure that it stays unique and creative and ethically grounded? You know, her presentation is going to be a reflection on those questions we need to ask ourselves, especially as Africans in an age where so much can be generated artificially. And how do we position ourselves to remain relevant? And Na Lamle is an incredible young woman from Ghana who is a progressive professional with research and development experience in machine learning, data science, and software development in both industry and academic settings. She is passionate about the application of artificial intelligence for social good, and is dedicated to exploring the potential of AI to impact humanity. So we are absolutely in for a great treat today. Na, I'm so happy. I'm so excited for your presentation. We'll let you take the floor. Thank you again for sharing this with us.
Sure. Happy to be here. I hope everyone can hear me very clearly. Can my screen be seen? Am I being heard clearly? Can someone confirm if my screen is being seen and if I'm being
Yes, please. We can hear you, we can see you, and we
okay?
can see your presentation.
Great. Sounds good. So, hello to everyone. For some of us, it's morning, good morning. For some of us, it might be afternoon, evening. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you find yourself in the world. So today, I'm here to just take us through a few moments of reflection, really. I'm not here to just do a presentation. I'd just like us to reflect, to ask ourselves a few questions, and to evaluate ourselves. Nothing I'm going to be saying here today is a strong argument. I'm just sharing some pieces of food for thought. Now, I think we currently find ourselves in an age where productivity is increasingly becoming automated, and we have become so much more efficient because we are complementing our natural intelligence with something called artificial intelligence. But have you ever stopped to think about the effects that is having on our uniqueness as human beings? Is anything that we are creating truly authentic? I don't have the answers, so let's discuss. In this presentation, you may notice I'll be using the terms authenticity and uniqueness interchangeably. In our world today, our mantra has become efficiency. Now imagine that you decide that calculators are an evil creation, so you don't want to use calculators. You prefer to do every calculation in your mind because you're a mad guru. If you happen to come up with the wrong output, would you say that, oh, that's just a creative solution? Or maybe you work in a factory that prioritizes quality control. Would you prefer that every item produced is unique? No, most likely your goal would be to have consistent and similar outputs for each item produced. But is this necessarily the best thing? Does the human touch add something positive to our products? Are flaws maybe valuable? Does being efficient really mean that we cannot be creative at all? Does our goal for efficiency eliminate our creativity and uniqueness? Now, such studies have shown that the use of AI is affecting our cognitive abilities. We may be becoming lazier, unable to critically solve problems, and we are struggling to write. A study published in PubMed reported that there has been a 68.9% increase in perceived laziness among university students in Pakistan and China due to a heightened reliance on AI tools. This is a phenomenon that they call cognitive offloading, and it occurs when individuals delegate their cognitive tasks to machines. Now, while AI can enhance efficiency by handling routine tasks, an over-reliance may inadvertently reduce our motivation to engage in critical thinking and independent problem solving. Now, there was a research also conducted by, um, it was conducted and published in the Journal of Cognitive Enhancement, which showed that there was a 53.2% decline in creative problem solving among the participants. The study indicated that when individuals allow AI to guide their decision-making process, their capacity for generating original ideas and thinking outside the box diminished significantly. There was yet another study published in the Journal of Educational Technology Research, which found that frequent use of AI writing assistants, as most of us do, ChatGPT, led to a 47% decrease in originality among college students. Now, those findings suggested that the reliance on AI in writing tasks might be stifling individual expression and reducing the diversity of creative thought, making it increasingly challenging to produce truly original content. Now, these research findings demonstrate that while AI offers remarkable efficiency, its overuse can erode the very qualities that define our authenticity, our ability to think critically, create uniquely, and act with ethical discernment. I'm just pausing because I'm not too sure my screen was still being seen. Was my screen being seen while I spoke? Rashida, can you confirm?
Yes, please.
Oh, it was. Okay, that's great. That's great. No problem. Now, what does it mean to be authentic, really? Authenticity can be defined as the quality of being true to one's own personality, spirit, and character. It involves expressing ideas, emotions, and creativity that stem directly from your personal experiences and intrinsic values. But there's a question for reflection here. Who determines what is authentic? If I find something to be authentic, does that mean you would agree with me? Is it subjective because it's deeply influenced by your individual beliefs, your cultural backgrounds, your personal history, or is there an objective truth to authenticity? Is there a benchmark by which we can determine the authenticity of a thing? Again, food for thought. Now, are our thoughts authentic? Our unique creativity, empathy, moral reasoning, and intuition is the hallmark of our humanity and what differentiates us from artificial systems. We often say that, oh, the things that are generated by AI are not really coming from its mind because AI does not have them. But isn't that the case for us as well? Isn't every information that we have now a sum total of our experiences, things that we've learned along the way? Can anyone truly claim that anything that they have created was not influenced by data that they collected? Our thoughts and opinions are linked to our experiences and learning. Does this mean anything we produce is not uniquely ours? Again, is anything we create truly authentic? But let's ask ourselves this. If AI is modeled after human reason, could we not say that anything generated is authentic because it's coming from the AI's personal experiences and learning? It reasons just as we do, reasons in a way. It processes data to create new information. Can this data be defined as the model's intrinsic values and experiences? But is this information unique to the AI model? Can this be reproduced exactly the same, or it's a unique output? Is this authentic, or it's not authentic because the information belongs to the source of the data and not to the AI model itself? Again, food for thought. But how can we remain unique in this age? Skills like programming are slowly becoming obsolete. So what sets you apart? Jobs are becoming a little harder to obtain because AI is being used to generate fake CVs. If there's anyone here who's a recruiter, you might be struggling to determine which application is real or not. There's a flood of fake applications filling up the systems now. One thing that we can all do is to make sure that we are taking full advantage of AI as a tool. View it as a collaborator, not a competitor. Some of us here are scared of AI taking away our jobs. We are finding it to be a threat, but we can instead take full advantage of it. Make unique outputs which has a touch of your personality. Just remember that any generated output is not coming from an actual thinking process. The thinking comes from you, the user. So make sure you think before you paste it elsewhere. Don't just put in a prompt, copy everything, paste it into your work, and you're good to go. Now, we should also make sure that we are cultivating soft skills, which cannot be emulated by technology. Continually build your knowledge. Don't remain stagnant. Don't do what you've always done. The world that we are in calls for you to evolve constantly. There are things that you can do that can never be replicated by AI. There's empathy, good communication, paying someone a compliment, even smiling at someone. I don't think anyone's computer can smile at them. Robots make an attempt, but it's not quite the same thing. I'm sure you know. So again, what are some of these skills that set us apart? What are some of the soft skills that we should develop? Empathy. Now, while AI can be programmed to recognize and mimic emotional expressions, it cannot genuinely experience emotion. Our ability to empathize and connect with others on a deep emotional level is a distinctly human trait that fosters authentic interpersonal relationships. AI doesn't really care whether you live or die. It's just been programmed to think that something is good and something is bad, but it really, really doesn't care. It doesn't know what is going on with you. So build the skill of empathy because it cannot be replicated by a machine. Next is creativity. True creativity emerges from an interplay of personal experience, emotion, and imagination. Unlike AI, which generates output based on pre-existing patterns, human creativity is revolutionary and original, continually reshaping our culture and intellectual landscape. So build the soft skills of creativity. Start from somewhere. Just be creative, be imaginative. Then there's the sense of morality. As I mentioned earlier, AI does not care, but humans do. No matter which background you come from, you have an innate sense of what is good and what is bad. Decision making often involves navigating complex moral landscapes. Human intelligence is guided by ethical principles and values, allowing us to address societal challenges with a sense of justice and responsibility. This is a capability that is beyond the reach of algorithm driven systems. AI is not fair. AI is not moral. If AI had to choose between killing one person and killing three people, it would choose one person. But as a human being, you might say, why don't we kill no one at all? So our values are what makes us unique and what sets us apart. Finally, intuition. So AI has been programmed to do what it's supposed to do, but there's always an innate sense of intuition that we have as human beings. When there are unpredictable situations, our intuitive responses and adaptive problem-solving skills are what sets us apart. AI follows rigid rules, but human intuition is adjustable. It can adapt. We are able to pave the way for innovative solutions that can emerge from chaos. So build a soft skill of intuition. This entire presentation was generated by AI. It's not from my mind. Is that true? Is it possible? Does anyone believe me? If that was true, how would that make you feel about me and my authenticity? Would you trust me more? Would you trust me less? Are you willing to listen to anything that I ever see if you can't guarantee that it's actually a product of my knowledge? Can I even call it my presentation? Now, the first slide, you might have seen my name there, and I attributed this entire presentation to myself. Was that honest of me? Can I actually copyright this presentation as my own? Think about what it would mean for our future if nothing can be copyrighted. That means nothing can ever truly belong to anyone. But don't worry, you can relax. This presentation is mine. I created it myself. The words are mostly my own. I did use generative tools to assist me, but I probably should have credited the model as the co-writer. But it should again make you evaluate the content that you put.
We're having some heavy rains here in Accra, so I think Na has been affected by that. So we'll just give her a second to reconnect.
Hi, I'm not too sure if I can be heard. I had a power challenge. Rashida, would you like me to continue from where I left off, or it's good?
Sorry, Na, could you repeat that again? You're kind of quiet. I didn't hear. Hello, dear? Sorry, everyone. Like I said, there's some very heavy rains in Accra today, so Na's connection went down, but I think she's just trying to get her presentation back up.
Rashida, should we move on to like the next speaker before the rains stop? I've heard Accra is a bit stormy today, of all days.
I know, no problem. Yes. Just talking to Nan in the background here. So while she gets that set up, we're going to move to the next speaker and then we'll come back to Na Lamley because that was very engaging. So thank you, Na. Apologies for the rain. So we are going to be moving on to the next presentation, which is by Symbiat Ajao. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that. Oh, I think she said she's back. So sorry. Hold on. Nah, you are you back? 100%?
Yes, yes, I'm back 100%. Sincere
Okay,
apologies.
fantastic. Okay,
I was
Symbiat.
just wrapping up, so I want to quickly wrap up so that,
Of course,
yeah,
of course. Please take your time. You still have
thank you so
some time on
much.
the clock,
Yeah,
so please take your time.
great. Thank you so much. Okay, apologies again to everyone for that issue. Looks like the power went down where I was. Everything shut down for a few seconds. So I was just taking us through a final reflection that we should all think about, whether we all think that in the future anything we create will actually be unique, and to ask ourselves, now, what can we do to make sure we stand out when everything seems artificially generated? How will you remain unapologetically you, no matter what the future looks like? What defines your authenticity when the world is fully connected? How do you stand out from the crowd? Where do your values lie? What can you call your own? Do think about it. Thank you again for your attention. Sincere apologies for the network challenges. Please let's connect. Follow the Business School of AI on LinkedIn. Connect with me on LinkedIn, or you can email me at nalamibo@gmail.com. Thank you so much, Rafida. And thank you, everyone. If there are any
Thank you
questions,
so
I'm happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Na Lamley. If you could put your
Thank
email
you.
contact information, is there a slide with it or do you want to perfect? So for anyone who wants to get in
Yes.
touch with her, this is how you can do so. And also you are Na Lamley Boyi on LinkedIn as well, correct?
On LinkedIn, yes, yes.
Perfect. So they can connect with you there, get to see your great work. And you're one of the few women in Ghana who are trained technically in this field. You're not new
Mm-hmm.
to this, you are true to this. So please connect
Yes.
with Nalamle if you really want to dig deep into this incredible world of AI and machine learning from a base level. Very grateful for you, and thank you for the presentation.
True. Thank you too.
Perfect. So I'll take a peek at the chat if there's any comments, questions. Let me see on the live stream. Someone said, very insightful, glad to be here. I feel exactly the same way. Okay, there was a question. Well, I think that was for Miriam about the courses. Hold on, let me just see if there's one specifically. Yeah, so Miriam, if you're still on the call, someone asked, can you give specific platforms we can go to get access to these courses? Because I do remember you mentioned that we can always have continuing education around data science.
Hi Rashida, yes. So there are paid courses and there are unpaid ones. So for paid courses, you can look at um, Data Camp. That's one of my major ones that I use. But for unpaid, you can look at YouTube. YouTube is very good for all sorts of learning. So YouTube, you can check out Alex the Analyst for analyst courses, data analyst courses for beginners. It starts from beginners, intermediate, and advanced. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, yes, absolutely. YouTube is such a valuable resource, you guys. There are lots of professionals putting out great content out there for free. So please take advantage of that. And for me as well, I find a lot of really great AI content on TikTok, which is very surprising. You think TikTok is just about dancing. But I do find a lot of really great educational content and find a lot of great content creators in the realm of AI, data science, data analysis, and machine learning. So those are some great resources. Thank you to Claudia for that great question. So yes, you can put questions in the Zoom, you can put it in the live on YouTube, and as well on LinkedIn. So we'll do our best to go through those. So we are doing very great for time, and we're about to move on to our next presentation. I'm very excited about this. I've always been an advocate for AI adapting to us and being made for us. And language is one of the ways that we can really guarantee technological penetration across the African continent, because not all of our people, brothers and sisters, can speak English or a high resource language that is used in an LLM. So Madam Simbiat is going to be doing a presentation today called Language Endangerment: Nigerian Languages as a Scope of Reference from a Machine Learning um, perspective. Sorry about that. So Simbiat is a or yeah, linguist and passionate advocate for language preservation as well as cultural diversity. And she is dedicated to exploring innovative solutions to promote endangered languages. Among her many skills and areas of expertise, as someone passionate about language and its preservation, she found that it's very alarming. She was very alarmed by a pressing issue that seems to be unconsciously neglected, which is the issue of language endangerment. A number of languages around the world are at the brink of going extinct. And while she'll be using Nigerian language, which is peculiar to herself as a Nigerian, it is to show how and why many indigenous languages risk falling out of use and disappearing, and efforts that can be made, like language documentation, education, and community initiatives, which are currently underway, but more needs to be done to preserve these vital aspects of culture. And language endangerment can be addressed through machine learning by developing culturally sensitive models that learn from limited data, and collaboration between ML experts, linguists, and local communities is crucial. This can truly help preserve languages and promote cultural diversity. I'm very excited to hear what she has to say, and I know that you guys are in for such a great treat. So, perfect. Simbiat, please, the floor is all yours, dear.
Hello, everyone. I believe everyone can hear me right now. Kindly confirm, please. All right.
Green.
My name is Simbiat Ajao, and I would say it's a privilege to be amongst vast women who are enthusiastic about AI, machine learning, and data, a lot of fields, and it's really an exciting moment for me. Today, I'll be speaking on language endangerment. And while I'm going to be using Nigerian languages as examples, I want to portray the fact that it's not just Nigerian languages, there are other languages all over the world who are at the brink of going into extinction. Today, we are going to be coming across several key points, which is language endangerment. Then we have machine learning and data, which is an important aspect in training models. Then we have Nigerian languages as reference. Language today is a system of communication. Basically, it is how we relate with each other to exchange ideas, to exchange feelings, to express ourselves, express our thoughts, which is just an example of what we are doing here today. In a situation whereby we do not understand this language we're using to speak right now, there is going to be there's going to be an error, there'll be confusion, right? And so this really shows why and how language is important. So when we speak about language endangerment, please, I would like to be called if I am moving too fast. Just let me know, bring it to my attention if I'm moving too fast. Rashida, can you please confirm that?
I think you're going perfectly well. Does anyone have any objections to the speed?
None.
But maybe we'll just slow it down a little bit because some people might have connectivity issues, so they might miss a few pieces.
All right. Thank you so much. So, when we're talking about language endangerment, basically it refers to the risk of a language falling out of use, which in turn causes it to go into extinction. Today, we have various courses which serve as threats to languages. When we talk about globalization, right, we're referring to the use of these vastly spoken languages all over the world. Examples of which is English, Mandarin, we have French, we have even Arabic, we have Spanish. So the more we use these languages are being used all over the world, right? The more it has this impact that pushes down our indigenous languages, especially when they are made to be certain countries' official languages, if you get what I mean. Another threat to languages, various language policies. For example, in Nigeria, we have a language policy that allows for indigenous languages to be taught in school. That is true, and that is quite all right, but it doesn't take away the fact that English is our official language, and despite the fact that there is allowing indigenous languages to be taught in school. I mean, in Nigeria, we all know that there are three major indigenous languages, which is Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa. Meanwhile, over 250 languages are spoken in Nigeria. I mean, what happens to those other languages? Basically, our language policy doesn't allow for these indigenous languages to fully maximize their potential, if you get what I mean. Nigeria today, English is seen as top-notch, right? While our indigenous languages are usually seen as inferior. You see a lot of young ones growing up today and they can't even speak their indigenous languages properly. Well, we can't blame them. I mean, English is our official language, right? And despite our other indigenous languages spoken in schools, how many of them are actually taught by learners of these languages, right? Now, when we talk about aging population, in a situation whereby we have languages like, let's say Efik, it's a Nigerian language, a Nigerian language rather, let's say Efik, for Efik, it's not necessarily taught in schools, if you get what I mean, because it's not one of the major Nigerian languages. So in a situation whereby for know these languages, they're the only ones who have an idea, who have an understanding of the culture that this language has. In a situation whereby they grow old and die without having to preserve those languages, what happens? It causes the language to go into extinction. Another threat to language is cultural assimilation, which is basically one of the points I just gave. In Nigeria, we have the influence of the Western culture on us so much that it's affecting our traditional languages and our cultural practices. Take, for example, in Yoruba have their way of doing the traditional weddings and all of that. I mean, traditional weddings should be our own weddings, right? But these days we've called it traditional weddings. So they have something we call Ekwenyawo. It's a cultural practice that as Yorubas we must do. Do you understand? But these days, due to westernization, everyone is wanting to have what we call a white wedding, where you get to wear a white dress and all of that. Things like this is really taking our cultural practices away, and we are fully taking on the Western practices. When we talk about language endangerment from a machine learning perspective, I'm sure on this call we have a lot of AI or machine learning enthusiasts or professionals who are conversant with the importance of diversity when it comes to training language models. And language endangerment really poses a threat in this regard, as we can consider it as a problem. Now, I've highlighted three problems that is caused or can be caused by language endangerment from a machine learning perspective. Number one is limited data. For Nigeria, that has several, right, and they are not documented, and situations whereby we don't have them orally or even in archives, right? In a situation where we're trying to train models, this is a problem as we have limited data. We probably don't have books written in other languages, right? Yeah, of course, quite all right. We have books written in Igbo, in Yoruba, in Hausa. I mean, Yoruba is doing very well right now. It's spoken in other parts of the world, Brazil and the likes. We cannot detest that fact, and we are glad for that fact, but we have over 250 languages spoken in Nigeria. What happens to the others? So this is a problem. There's limited data. We don't have books written in those languages and all of that. Number two is bias in models. When we talk about bias in models, I don't want to use my own words. I'm going to show us something. If we look at the next slide, this is to show us how models can be biased. This is ChatGPT. So I asked it to translate something from Yoruba to English, right? And when doing this in Yoruba, it was not stated whether it's a male nurse or a female nurse. So I said nurse ni iwe eri to daju. Nosisimo Ishere Dada. So it's supposed to be translated as the nurse has a valid certificate and the nurse knows his or her job well, right? But ChatGPT said the nurse knows her job well, which is a little bit biased. That's where the gender bias comes in, right? So how do we take care of things like this, right? While we are, what's the word now? While we try to build models for indigenous languages, we are still having to use English. And English really, these people cannot know our languages well more than us. For Yoruba, for example, now there's a lot of when you speak, right, there is, should I say, a tone, tone that sometimes might not even come as a word. Do you get? So things like that, can the machine really understand that? So there's really a bias in these models. Then we have loss of cultural heritage and identity, which I have tried to show in our in the slides. So I'm using Yoruba. You permit me to make use of Yoruba, but while I am making use of these languages, I want us to know that in Africa, even all over the world, there are lots of languages going into extinction that are actually being endangered. And I'm sure anyone from Africa, Asia, everywhere would agree with me. And this is a topic that is not usually really spoken of because we have now become too, should I say, too comfortable with the languages we have that we forget other languages, and all language is beautiful. So for example, why this can cause loss of cultural heritage. For example, we have a food in Yoruba called amala. It is usually made from either plantain or cassava flour, right? And it has been so westernized these days. I see online and someone is saying, oh, I'm having plantain or cassava flakes. I'm like, yo, that is amala. That's our identity. Amala is peculiar to the southwestern part of Nigeria, which is the Yorubas. So I mean, that's our identity. What do you mean plantain of cassava flakes? Then we have akara. This one is very common. You hear people talk about akara and you're saying bean cake. It's bean cake. It is akara. It is our culture. It's our tradition. And the more we allow them to translate our culture for us, our indigenous languages for us, the more we cause these things to go into extinction, the more they take away our identity from us rather. So this is something we should really pay attention to. I mean, imagine, for example, we all know that pasta is like Italian, top-notch Italian food. And if anyone comes up to translate pasta as something else, trust me, those people aren't going to stay calm because why? It is their identity. And I believe we as Africans, we ought to do same. We ought to protect our culture and protect our identity. Moving on, when we speak of language endangerment in respect to machine learning, Nigerian languages tend to suffer lack of sufficient data for training accurate models, which I already stated at the beginning of my presentation. Another issue we tend to have is insufficient computational resources, expertise, and funding tend to hinder the development of machine learning models for Nigerian languages. While we have a lot of AI enthusiasts or professionals doing so well for Nigerian languages like Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, and the likes, they still tend to go through some, should I say, setbacks when it comes to funding, right? Most of the time they get to use funding from outside of the country, not our country. So if this is like should I say this is like an issue for us, even when we want to work on Nigerian languages, right? Take for example, Yoruba, quite a number of data sets, quite a number of books, quite a number of oral heritage in our archives and whatnot. But we have another language, another Nigerian languages, which is Agatu. I came across this language when I was editing an article on Wikipedia because I contribute to Wikimedia projects just like Wikipedia, and I had to learn about the language. While Yoruba has quite a number of data to use when it comes to training models, Agatsu language certainly does not. So this shows that there's really a gap when it comes to training models in Nigerian languages and in African languages and other languages of the world. Um, Another point, I mean, the lack of insufficient amount of linguists majoring in these languages. Yes, I have understanding of other in Yoruba, right? But like in Nigeria, and there are no linguists of such languages. How then can we work on preserving these languages? Because I mean, linguists have a huge role to play when it comes to language preservation. Take for example, as a linguist, I say bread is bread in you, right? And someone else who believes to be an indigenous speaker, but I mean, you haven't been to your village like in 2 years, and you're telling me, oh, bread is bready. Like it doesn't tell. Linguists helps us to uh, preserve this culture, preserve the authenticity. Exactly, that's the word. Preserve the authenticity of our languages. Up next is yeah, this is a table showing us some languages in Nigeria and those that are under threat and those that have gone extinct. We have Mawa, then we have Ogoni. Ogoni is spoken in River State and is currently under threat. I mean, this is just a few, to list a few. There are tons of languages that are under threat or that have gone into extinction. I mean, imagine Kanuri used to be spoken in the, or is spoken in the northern east state of Nigeria, but currently is under threat. And I mean, you cannot even tell if it has actually gone into extinction right now because we haven't really made that research on that particular language. Do you understand? Now, what are the solutions or opportunities when it comes to language endangerment? Number one is language documentation. We need to document our languages. I mean, we could start from, there are different aspects we could start from. We could start from lifestyle, we could start from nature. We begin to document things that are around us in our native languages, in our native dialect. And this would help us preserve our culture, preserve our tradition in the long run. Take, for example, trying to talk about, what's it called now? Let's look at dodoikiri. Dodoikiri is made from plantain, overripe plantain, and it's fried and added, and pepper is added with it, right? So imagine I decide to document that, and I mentioned dodoikiri. Indirectly, I am trying to preserve our culture too, because it is something a set of people eat. It is their culture, it is their identity. When you talk about dodoikiri, you know, oh, those are the Ikiri people, right? And so language documentation is an important way we can reduce the effect or reduce language endangerment on languages all over the world. Up next is low resource language modeling. So while we say that, oh, we do not have enough data to work on language modeling to train our data and models and all of that, we can decide to start with low resource language modeling, right? Just take the little data we have and preserve it. That way we can preserve these languages from going into extinction because why? They in turn get to be used. We can even use GPUs to train large robust models to build our own models without using English language because these days we tend to use English to we take translate from English to our indigenous languages, which in turn would start needing to fine-tune it and all of that, right? Meanwhile, we can use our own indigenous language without having to fine-tune. And this would enable us to even build large, robust models. I mean, we're Africans and only Africans can solve African problems. it's safe to say no one is coming to help us because they cannot know our language more than we do. And while these languages might have similar structure, they are totally different. Up next is multilingual models, right? Having multilingual models would help us to preserve these languages. I mean, we have different languages from Nigeria or from Africa, right? One of these is a project I was on with data actually which is from Swahili to Twi to Yoruba to French Egyptian Arabic. So basically what this language did was to seek the quality, like to see quality of how the machine translates these African languages, from English to these African languages. It's actually, we had to look at the grammar and the accuracy of the translation. I worked on the annotation aspect, and trust me, it was a lot of work. And as a linguist, I saw quite a number of errors. I'm like, nah, AI, what are you doing to us? But despite the fact that AI is, can be biased and all of that, it has its positive parts, which is what I believe we should leverage on as AI enthusiasts, machine learning professionals. Up next is language translations. We can translate from one language to another. Let's take, for example, we take data sets from a language that has a robust data and translate to these languages, right, that do not have enough data. That way, we're able to still preserve these languages. Up next is speech recognition. I think, was it 2 days ago? I saw something Samsung did. They now have a new set of phone brands that you can use in your native languages. They have the Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa. I mean, which is good. You can speak to whatever in your native language, and that is like top notch. I mean, we should have more of that with things like this Alexa and your Google Voice and all of that. And that's going to be wonderful. That's going to be another way to preserve my language. Do you understand? Another one is cultural preservation, which was an example of what I gave with our food and our other things being translated as what it's not. Once we're able to preserve our language, we are able to preserve culture as well. And this is something we ought to do regardless of where we find ourselves. Another solution is collaborating with linguists to preserve languages. Like I said earlier on, we need linguists. And I believe there are tons of linguists out there. Because for me, in this linguistic world, I don't see a lot of people that are linguists that are more passionate about what they do. Linguists I see are always passionate about what they do. They are passionate about languages, right? And so if we can collaborate with them as those who work on cleaning the data, analyzing the data and all of that, that's going to be wonderful. I've been privileged to work on several projects where they really knew the worth of linguists. And we had to, clean these data sets. We had to, correct it and properly translate it. I mean, take for example, Yoruba is a tonal language. So if you write Yoruba with just words, for someone like me, I'll tell you that is wrong because I cannot read the language that way. Why? It is a tonal language, and without the tones, it could either be interpreted as something else or it could be meaningless, right? Which is why I believe collaboration with linguists is really one of the solutions to decrease the effect of language endangerment or extinction. While the topmost of it is raising awareness, which is one of the things I'm doing right now, is to raise awareness that there are a lot of languages going into extinction. And the earlier we begin to raise awareness and talk and work on them, then the better for us, because no language is inferior to the other. All languages are superior. And I believe this presentation has been able to highlight several effects and needs that language play in the AI and machine learning world. So I'll be expecting questions or ideas, So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for keeping up with me. Nice to be here. And special thank you to Rashida. Rashida, you've been doing a great work, coordinating this, and to Suda who put this together. I'm sure it was a whole lot of work, or it's a whole lot of work because it's like 24 hours. So I say thank you. Thank you to everyone.
Thank you to you too. If it isn't for you guys as the speakers, we won't have such great content to keep our audience engaged. And this presentation was so eye-opening. And I mean, a lot of us who can already speak an indigenous language, we've already tried using AI to translate or Google Translate to try and translate, and it's always getting it wrong. And the reason why it gets it wrong is because there's just not an effort to preserve these languages, and it's very, very important. So thank you, Cynthia. This is so important to the African nation, because again, when we talk about technology penetration, language is at the forefront of that. If we do not meet people where they're at, they're never going to adopt using technology. So how can we get in touch with you? If I'm a AI developer and I want to incorporate African languages and hire a linguist like yourself to come on board to consult, how do I connect with you?
All right, thank you so much. On LinkedIn, my name is Simbiat Ajao. Meanwhile, I will drop my email in the chat box. My mail is simbiatajao18@gmail.com. So thank you so much, and I'll be open and wishing to hear from you.
Amazing. But before you go, I had a question for you. Have you worked on any, ML models that have preserved Nigerian languages? And if so, which languages have you been working on?
Oh, yes, of course I have. And like I said, I am a linguist. Yes, I might be conversant with other in Yoruba language. So I've been working on Yoruba language. And due to this, I feel like, oh, I could do more. So I'm currently looking to learning other languages. I'm actually looking to learn one Nigerian language and one African language. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, I speak Hausa, so if you ever need a Hausa lady, I can connect you to them. My people will say my Hausa isn't very good, but I can still help
That's
you small.
yeah, that's fine. That's lovely.
Okay, perfect.
Nago,
Are there
Nago Day.
Oh, Bagod, yeah. How do you say thank you in Yoruba? I think it's Ashe. No, that is like,
Eshe Goni, thank you very much.
yeah,
Eshe,
Ashe, Ashe.
No, Rashida, we're gonna have to train you. It's Eshe.
Okay. I'll have to see it written out and I think I'll understand. But thank you so much. Are there any questions for Symbiotes before we move on? Let me check in the live stream here. Let's see here. Any questions? Okay, fantastic. Okay, perfect. So, last but not least is my presentation. Just a little bit about myself is again, my name is Rashida Musa. I'm the founder of Rayma Integration Technologies. We believe that education is the vehicle for AI adoption. And where our goal is to help more people effectively adopt and use artificial intelligence. Not necessarily, we don't really focus on like the machine learning side, the building of it, but using the tools that are already in existence. And so every Sunday at 8 p.m. Ghana time, so GMT, which is also 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we run a free AI webinar on Zoom. So different every week is a different topic. Last week was about image generation. This week is about using AI to create wonderful social media graphics and flyers, especially now that ChatGPT has come up with their new 4.0 image models. So my presentation today is going to be a little bit different than that. And I love that it's a segue from the language, because we're talking about AI being accessible, and then I'm building something in English for African women. So I need people like Symbiot to build more accessible AI models that I can now communicate with speech to speech in an Indigenous African language. So I'll just share my screen here as well. Perfect. I think everyone can see my screen, but can I get some thumbs up and confirmation?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, so from connected to intelligent, AI's role in women's healthcare. So I chose women's healthcare as it's something that affects absolutely all of us. And women not having access to healthcare is a very permanent issue here in on the continent. So we developed an AI assistant called Aya, and it's a healthcare assistant that you can call and you can speak to. It's a trusted guide that helps you understand what's happening with your health. It provides accessible care, so it's connected to all the medical centers in Ghana. That so let's say I'm calling from Tamale, I can still talk to this one agent, and it can book me in the next available appointment at the closest clinic to me, and it's personal. You know, how many times, I mean, let's even be honest. In Ghana, could you call any hospital and speak with a compassionate nurse who would offer support and help, answer any questions that you have? I don't really think so. You know, you definitely need to, you call them. I mean, even if you call a business in Ghana, they're like, hello. They don't even say, hi, my name is this, I'm from here, just to properly and professionally introduce themselves. So we really eliminated that by developing Aya. And why this is important? Aya is important because women die all the time. 70% of all maternal deaths in the world are in sub-Saharan Africa. That is, we should be absolutely disgusted by this number. We should be ashamed to belong to a society where 70% of all global maternal deaths happen right here in our own backyard. And one in 38 women in sub-Saharan Africa have a risk of death from pregnancy related causes. And what's even more disturbing is that 60% is preventable with early intervention. But the reason why women are not visiting clinics early to get these solutions, or to have early intervention is, you know, distance, stigma. Imagine if you've been sexually assaulted and now you're pregnant and now you have to face that stigma. Most women hide their pregnancy until it's 6, 7 months until they can't hide it anymore, which often then leads to complications because at that point there's not much that can be done. And also lack of information. A lot of these women who live in rural areas face lack of education, lack of access to information. And we wanted to solve that with developing something that was accessible to women. We want to reduce this number because this 70% here is devastating. These are real, like we just look at this, but these are real women, real lives, real mothers who are dying, rich and poor, who are dying from giving birth unnecessarily. So that is what we want to do. So AI as a health companion. We're not trying to use AI as well to replace doctors and nurses. That's impossible. But at least allow AI to be that first point of contact for patients who need healthcare assistance. So this healthcare companion allows you to book appointments, answers questions, provides reminders. So let's say you are pregnant and you need reminders that, hey, you need to go for a checkup. You need to go for this checkup. You need to go for this checkup. It helps keeps you accountable. And the most important thing as well is that it supports local languages. For the sake of today's demo, it will be done in English, but we have the capabilities of being able to do this in Hausa, Yoruba, Tree, Ewe, Ga, and Igbo as well. So even though, Symbia talked about a lot of smaller, less known languages that are becoming extinct, this is still a first step in getting it away from your high resource languages like English, Arabic, French, Spanish, and things like that. So Aya is accessible, intelligent, and culturally aware. So we built this to, again, have multilingual support and also to understand cultural nuances, understand taboos in certain cultures when calling. So to be sensitive around that. And it's a voice-based booking system. So if you have a smartphone, you'll be able to communicate with Aya on an app, on the website or the app directly, or you can also call and speak on WhatsApp. So you can be doing back and forth with a voice note on WhatsApp. And this is really great because 75% of urban women in Africa own a mobile phone. And when I say mobile phone, it actually is a smartphone too. So they have the capabilities of being able to connect with Aya. We didn't just want it to be app-based or web-based. You'll be able to call as well. So this is more than just convenience. It's actually life-saving access. You know, limited antenatal care. So less than 50% of women receive first trimester care. Some women don't even know they're pregnant. Some women have to hide that they're pregnant. And also, 1 in 4 African women experience postpartum depression. And Aya's support is you're doing great, mama. Emotional check-ins after birth is that Aya isn't just it's not just speaking to a robot. Press 1 if you have mental health distress, or press 2 if you're experiencing bleeding. It's a real conversation that you're having with a sentient being, I guess, that can really understand what you're going through, and provide that care for you. Some women can't even complain that they're having postpartum depression or that they're in a lot of domestic violence situations. This provides them with the resources that they need. It's not, like I said here, it isn't just for calls. She's truly answering a crisis that is affecting a lot of women. So the tech behind Aya is GPT-based dialogue. So we are using an LLM in the backend, and we're using voice technology with 11 Labs and OpenAI Whisper. And we have custom guardrails for reproductive health. My apologies there. So the model is trained on local healthcare data as well as global standard for women's health, especially around pregnancy. And we have an API integration with WhatsApp and an IVR connectivity, which allows for you to communicate with Aya on multiple different platforms, on WhatsApp, directly on a call, or directly on the website. So it's a very simple stack, but the impact is incredible. So these are some ways that we have built Aya that protects and respects. We don't want to build technology that's supposed to support, but then also exploits people's privacy. So this is consent based. So all users are going to provide consent to engage with Aya. This information is medically validated, and we make sure that there's an African partnership with this medically validated content. So this is built with female women health professionals who are at the helm of developing the data set that is built to communicate. And again, culturally adjusted. We want to make sure that this addresses local norms, taboos, and things that may affect women as well. You know, in some villages, some women cannot leave without maybe a male escort to travel, right? And so it accounts for that as well. So I just want to do the demo for you guys here. So this is a quick demo. I'm going to book a antenatal or a prenatal appointment with Aya. So I think you guys should be able to hear my screen, but I just want to make sure that you can.
Expensive.
Can you guys hear this?
Our distrust is very expensive.
Let me play that again if you guys can hear.
Our distrust is very expensive.
Yes, we did. Fantastic. Okay, so let's call Aya.
Hello, welcome to Aya Care. How can I help you today?
Hi, I think I'm pregnant and I think I need to see a doctor.
Congratulations, madam. I'm really proud of you for reaching out. That takes courage. My name is Aya, and I'll help you book your first checkup and answer any questions. Can I ask your name and how many weeks pregnant you are? Also, is this your first pregnancy?
My name is Amaya, and I actually don't know how far along I am. Are you able to help me figure out that date?
I am not able to calculate how far along you are, but I can still help you book an appointment. Would you like me to proceed with booking an appointment for you? Also, is this your first pregnancy?
Yes, this is my first pregnancy.
Okay, Amaya, I can help you book your first prenatal appointment. We have 3 clinic options: Mamprobi Women's Clinic in Accra, Ridge Hospital in Accra, and Tema General Hospital in Tema. Which clinic would you prefer?
I think I live closer to Accra, so could you recommend a hospital for me?
Okay, in Accra, we have 2 options: Mamprobi Women's Clinic and Ridge Hospital. Mamprobi Women's Clinic has appointments available on Tuesday at 10 o'clock a.m. or Friday at 2:30 p.m. Ridge Hospital has appointments available on Wednesday at 9 o'clock a.m. or Thursday at 1 o'clock p.m. Which one would you prefer?
I think I'll go with Ridge at Thursday at 1 p.m., please.
Okay, so you've chosen Ridge Hospital for Thursday at 1 o'clock p.m. Just to confirm, your name is Amaya. This is your first pregnancy, and you'll be going to Ridge Hospital in Accra for your first prenatal appointment on Thursday at 1 o'clock p.m. Is that correct?
Yes, please. Is there anything I should know before I go?
Yes, there are a few things to keep in mind. Please bring your NHES card with you. Also, wear something comfortable, and remember to drink water and eat something light before coming. Is there anything else I can help you with today, madam?
I've just been experiencing some cramping. Is this normal in an early pregnancy?
Yes, it is normal to feel some cramping in early pregnancy as your body adjusts. However, if the pain is severe or you're worried, please seek medical attention. Do you have any other questions for me today?
Yes. Is it also normal that my breasts are incredibly tender and painful? I'm very concerned about that.
Yes, madam. Breast tenderness is a very common symptom in early pregnancy due to hormonal changes. Try wearing a supportive bra even at night and avoid caffeine, which can sometimes worsen the discomfort. If the pain is severe or you notice any lumps or other changes, please see a doctor, but it sounds like everything is normal. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Yes. Ooh, sorry, I think the demo has hold on, has run out there, the time limit. But you can see that this is just a demo version. It's not obviously the full version that we would be using, but it can provide medical advice for the client. It books into the system, and it also connects with all the hospitals in Accra to book you in. So now all the personal private conversation you had with the agent, that's not necessarily shared with the doctor unless you give consent. But at least the doctor is going to know that I had some cramping, my breasts are tender, and that this is my first pregnancy. And so as soon as I come to Ridge Hospital on Thursday, I don't have to wait in line, do any intake. My content is already there. Now this is great for Accra, but think about the impact of something like this in a rural neighborhood. Think of a young woman, 15, 14, who's never given birth before, who's scared, completely out of her mind. How would she feel being able to talk to someone about her concerns, about what is happening with her body, help her understand, is it normal for her breasts to feel like this? Is it normal for her to be cramping or to maybe be spotting? Because sometimes pregnancy spotting can be normal. It helps bridge that barrier for young women to access healthcare free. And that's the thing with this. This is all free. If you call, free. If you use the app, free. And our goal is to create this and put this out there for young women or women of all ages to have access to. And this is not just about prenatal. This was just the use case that we used here. But think about domestic violence, think about mental health disorder, postpartum depression, or other things that affect women, breast cancer, for instance. What if I start to feel a lump in my breast? I would love to be able to call a professional and discuss that and discuss what are my options. I don't have money. Where can I go to get a free breast exam? So this is revolutionary. Now, take it one step further and be able to communicate in an indigenous African language. This was obviously a Western voice, but on our real platform, we've been able to clone it in a voice that has a Ghanaian accent. So you do feel that sense of familiarity. And the AI is also trained on Ghanaian accents. So it's able to take a Ghanaian accent as if you're speaking with one and be able to understand exactly what you are saying. Now, that's the end of my presentation here today. I hope that it has been impactful to show um, the power of AI and the way that it can support women and women healthcare. So thank you very much. I don't know if there's any questions about this model. I can see here in the chat if there's any questions. Perfect. Well, that definitely brings us to the end of what has been such an powerful session. I really want to take this moment to reflect on what we've just witnessed, which is a tapestry of brilliance, passion, and purpose woven by women who are not just part of the AI movement, they are shaping it. Each speaker today reminded us that AI is not just a tool, it's a mirror of society, a force for justice, and a pathway to inclusion. If we're not intentional about how we build it, or if we're intentional about how we build it, we've seen how data can drive careers, how AI can amplify the voices of women entrepreneurs, how language is powerful, how every language is powerful, how authenticity matters in technology, and how to bridge IoT with intelligence in real time. And none of this would have been possible without the incredible vision and the platform provided by the Business School of AI. We're incredibly grateful to the team at the Business School of AI for putting this together and for dedicating a panel specifically to African women. To the founders who spoke today, each of you, your commitment to democratizing AI education and making this space inclusive, accessible, and deeply African is not just commendable, it's revolutionary. Thank you for believing in women, and thank you for building spaces where we're not just learning, but we are leading. To everyone here who tuned in on the live stream on Zoom, YouTube, and LinkedIn, let's carry this energy forward. Let's build, let's collaborate, and let's ensure that Africa isn't catching up to the AI wave. We're the ones making the waves. So thank you very much, everyone. And that's the end of the AI Africa panel.
Hi, thank you, Rashida. Thank you, everyone, for joining.